Remember Ellie Mae Clampett? Well, there's more to Donna Douglas and other characters of the show that the producers tried to keep hidden from the public. Keep watching to discover all the shocking facts. In 1962, CBS launched one of the funniest shows ever, the Beverly Hillbillies. And at the center of it all is none other than the beloved Ellie Mae Clampett, portrayed by the enchanting Donna Douglas. You might think you know everything about her role, but what if I told you there were some facts behind the scenes related to Ellie Mae and other characters that were carefully concealed during the filming of this beloved show? Let's uncover all the untold stories from the Beverly Hillbillies set. Let's start with Ellie Mae and her unexpected influence on fashion. Ellie Mae was portrayed by the talented Donna Douglas in Beverly Hillbillies, the iconic CBS sitcom that graced our screens from 1962 to 1971. Ellie Mae, the endearing daughter of the oil-rich Clampett family, captured hearts with her love for all kinds of creatures, her shapely figure and her signature style, those snug-fitting blue jeans and a cascade of blonde curls. In her own unique way, Ellie Mae became a fashion icon, setting a trend then, though commonplace today, was quite extraordinary at the time. The impact was real, denim product sales soared, and by the end of the first season, women everywhere were embracing blue jeans like never before. A Levi Strauss executive even noted, "Donna Douglas has done more for the sale of blue jeans in 1 year than cowboys have done in 100. This is quite interesting information, but it wasn't something that the producers didn't want you to know. However, there's a bigger and more shocking secret about Ellie Mae that was kept hidden for a long time. Now, before we uncover that secret, let's step into the quirky origins of this classic TV comedy. What we know as the Beverly Hillbillies today had an original premise of science fiction. Paul Henning, the creative mind behind the script, envisioned this outlandish concept, a rural family from 1860 time-traveling to modern-day New York City. However, it wasn't the peculiar sci-fi twist that posed the biggest challenge. The production company faced a hurdle in the form of the high costs associated with shooting in New York. The solution? The setting shifted from the bustling city to the glitzy hills of Beverly Hills, proving that a family from the Ozark Mountains was far more entertaining than time-traveling pioneers. This unexpected twist in the show's development led to the creation of a beloved sitcom that continues to be cherished by audiences worldwide. But that wasn't the only twist in the development of the show. Originally, the show also had a not-so-impressive title, The Hillbillies of Beverly Hills. It seems the writers had a bit of a struggle to find the perfect name. Imagine that. The producers felt it was a tad lame and redundant, so they went back to the drawing board. Interestingly, the longer title only made it to an early version of the pilot, titled The Clampett Strike Oil. However, by the time the second episode aired, the title we all know and love had been chosen. Unfortunately, records don't reveal the genius behind the final title. Indeed, finding a perfect title was important, but a perfect cast also significantly contributed to the success of the show. And in this show, there was fierce competition for the role of Granny. Now, it might be a surprising fact for you that before Irene Ryan snagged the part, the iconic Bea Benaderet had her eyes set on the role of Granny. A TV star in her own right, Benaderet auditioned for the role, but Paul Henning, the creator, ultimately chose Ryan. However, all was not lost for Benaderet, as Henning later found a place for her in the storyline as Cousin Pearl, Jethro's meddling mum. It wasn't exactly the Granny Clampett role, but Henning even wrote the role of Kate Bradley on Petticoat Junction specifically for her. Now, there's a more shocking fact about another cast member, Max Baer Jr. The actor behind Jethro played a simple-minded character on the show, but Baer showed his sharpness in real life. In 2014, he filed a lawsuit against CBS, alleging that they had granted him the right to use his character, Jethro Bodine, for marketing purposes. According to Baer, he had secured the rights to open a restaurant chain based on his character. Shockingly, CBS had secretly given the same rights to an Iowa chain named Jethro's BBQ. Fortunately, a settlement was reached and Jethro's BBQ is still operational in Iowa today, having been released from any damages. Quite a twist in the real-life drama behind the scenes, right? Well, do you remember Jed Clampett? Did you know that Jed Clampett, played by Buddy Ebsen, was almost the iconic Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz? Buddy Ebsen, a versatile actor and dancer, had a successful career in vaudeville, Broadway, and films alongside stars like Shirley Temple and Judy Garland. Walt Disney even drew inspiration from Ebsen's willowy dance moves for animated silly symphonies. Initially cast as the Scarecrow, Ebsen later switched to the role of the Tin Man. Unfortunately, a severe reaction to the aluminum metallic makeup forced him to drop out, leading to ongoing lung problems. Despite this setback, he outlived major cast members from the film. Interesting, right? But the next fact is something you wouldn't believe. Can you believe that the show was called Strained and Unfunny? Yes, you heard that right. Despite its eventual popularity, critics initially despised the Beverly Hillbillies. They deemed it in poor taste to mock the culture clash between simple, uneducated people and the wealthy. The New York Times called it strained and unfunny. Variety found it painful to sit through, and Time criticized its use of the lowest form of humor. One critic even likened the show to Death Valley in the vast wasteland of American television. However, the show defied critics, running for 9 years, topping ratings for 2 and earning 7 Emmy nominations. It's a classic case of fans and critics seeing things differently, but the success of the show doesn't indicate that there were no issues among the cast members. Intriguingly, tensions arose on the set between Buddy Ebsen and Nancy Kulp, who portrayed Miss Jane Hathaway. Kulp, playing the homely secretary to the scheming banker Mr. Drysdale, had unrequited feelings for Jethro. The real-life clash between Kulp and Ebsen extended to politics. At 62, Kulp ran as the Democratic nominee for the U.S. House of Representatives from Pennsylvania. Surprisingly, Ebsen campaigned for her opponent, labeling her too liberal in radio spots. Kulp, bitter about the loss, admitted finding Ebsen difficult to work with, but emphasized she would never have reciprocated such behavior. Such behind-the-scenes dynamics add an extra layer of complexity to the show's history. Apart from these feuds, there's a hidden fact that in the original script, Jed Clampett was uneducated. When Buddy Ebsen took on the role of Jed Clampett, he had a few conditions for the show's writers. Originally, Jed was portrayed as uneducated and lacking common sense. Ebsen, however, wisely insisted on giving the character a bit more intelligence. The result? Jethro became the family's comedic simpleton, leaving Jed to display sharp intellect while hilariously navigating city life. Now, here's a fascinating fact about the Clampett mansion. While the family's opulent residence on the show was set in Beverly Hills, it's a real mansion located in Bel Air. The house belonged to a real estate investor and art collector. To film on its grounds, the show's creator, Paul Henning, paid a mere $500 per day, an incredible deal by today's standards. Interestingly, the mansion's owner tragically died in a plane crash months before the first episode aired, but his wife continued to live there. The contract stipulated that the address couldn't be revealed, yet the challenge of sneaking an entire film crew in and out proved quite tricky. Eventually, the mansion's location became public knowledge, drawing fans and tourists eager for a glimpse of the iconic setting. From iconic roles to the interesting locations, everything about the show is worth remembering, and its theme song is not an exception. That unforgettable theme song, The Ballad of Jed Clampett, sung by country western singer Jerry Scoggins and featuring the bluegrass duo Flatt and Scruggs, hit the charts. This catchy tune reached the 44th spot on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. It's the kind of toe-tapping goodness you might associate with classics like Gilligan's Island or The Brady Bunch. Can you recall all the lyrics? The song's success on the charts is a testament to its enduring popularity, even if you don't remember every episode of the show. However, the next thing we're going to talk about is not a success indicator. It's a complicated relationship an actor may have with his role. Navigating the world of television can be a bit complicated for actors. On one hand, they aspire to gain recognition and fame, but on the other hand, they fear being limited to a single character so strongly that it becomes challenging for audiences to see them in any other light. This dilemma becomes evident in the career of Max Baer Jr., who portrayed the lovable yet dim-witted Jethro Bodine in the Beverly Hillbillies. For Max Baer Jr., the success of the show brought both opportunities and challenges. While a hit series could mean job security for years to come, the risk of being forever associated with a single character loomed large. Despite having a few minor roles, he found himself typecast, ultimately leading him to shift gears towards writing, producing, and directing. Interestingly, when approached for the 1981 television movie The Return of the Beverly Hillbillies, Baer declined the offer outright. It seemed like he was determined to distance himself from the character that had defined his career. However, fate took a curious turn when, in 1993, Baer was upset to discover that he hadn't been invited to make a cameo in the Beverly Hillbillies movie, especially when his co-star Buddy Ebsen had been included. Amidst this love-hate relationship with his famous role, Max Baer Jr. found an opportunity to revisit Jethro in 1993 through the TV special The Legend of the Beverly Hillbillies. Despite the challenges, Baer remains a pivotal figure in the show's legacy, being the last living cast member of this iconic series. It's quite inspiring, but the next fact will break your heart. Now picture this. Raymond Bailey, the man behind the scheming banker Mr. Drysdale, brought heaps of laughter managing the Clampett's fortune. But here's a heartbreaking fact. In his final years on set, signs of Alzheimer's disease began to surface. You can catch glimpses of it in the last 2 or 3 episodes, marking a bittersweet end to his acting career. Ultimately, he withdrew from the limelight and embraced a reclusive life until his passing in 1980 at the age of 75. Sad, right? Let's shift our gears to a surprising fact about John Wayne. And speaking of surprising turns, during the 5th season, the legendary John Wayne made a cameo. Granny, with her distinctive humor, repeatedly expressed a wish for John Wayne to join the fray against the Injuns, and lo and behold, he appeared in the episode titled "The Indians Are Coming." Now this is where it gets interesting. John Wayne, an icon in his own right, didn't demand a hefty paycheck. Legend has it, he quipped, "Give me a 5th of bourbon, that'll square it." Quite the unconventional deal by today's standards. Now, shifting gears to a lesser-known fact about Hollywood history. Did you know that before the tragic events involving the Manson family, Sharon Tate graced the Beverly Hillbillies with her presence? Yes, the same Sharon Tate, famous as the pregnant wife of director Roman Polanski. Surprisingly, she had a recurring role in 15 episodes, donning a brunette wig as the bank teller Janet Trago. Little did the audience know that this seemingly ordinary appearance would precede her Golden Globe-nominated role in Valley of the Dolls. Life takes unexpected turns, even in the glitzy world of television. And by the way, did you know that there was almost a Beverly Hillbillies casino? Max Baer Jr., the actor who played Jethro, had grand ambitions of creating Beverly Hillbillies-themed hotels, restaurants, and even casinos in Nevada. Imagine a 200-foot replica of an oil derrick as part of the project. Despite obtaining sub-licensing rights for products like food and slot machines, the venture faced numerous roadblocks over the years. Only time will tell if Jethro's dream of the Beverly Hillbillies casino will ever become a reality. But don't underestimate Jethro. Max Baer Jr. is a highly successful businessman, having made millions producing films like Macon County Line, created for just $100,000, and the box office hit Ode to Billy Joe. Now, let's dive into a legal battle initiated by your favorite Ellie Mae. Did you know that Donna Douglas once sued CBS? Why? Well, in a quirky turn of events, Ellie Mae, played by Donna Douglas, found herself in a legal battle with Mattel over a Barbie doll in 2010. Mattel, as part of their classic TV collection, released an Ellie Mae Barbie without seeking Douglas's permission. At 77 years old, the actress was displeased with the lack of communication and compensation. She took legal action against both CBS and Mattel, accusing them of the unauthorized use of her image. The lawsuit ended in 2011, with Douglas winning a settlement for an undisclosed amount. And who can forget Granny and her mouth-watering home-cooked meals? Irene Ryan portrayed Granny, Jed's mother-in-law, famous for her delicious victuals. While you can't physically visit the Clampetts, you can bring a piece of Granny's kitchen into your own home with Granny's Beverly Hillbillies cookbook, packed with 330 country recipes from the show, along with photos and memorabilia. This cookbook is a treasure trove for fans. Whether you gift it to a fellow fan or use it to up your Sunday lunch game, you'll be one step closer to achieving Granny-level greatness. And let's move forward with another interesting fact about Granny. Granny, played by the sweet Irene Ryan in real life, showcased her inner slugger with no hesitation. On screen, she portrayed a sassy old lady who would humorously slap some sense into Jethro, the somewhat clueless member of the hillbilly crew. In a candid interview, Ryan confessed that these weren't just stage slaps. She was putting her full strength into every smack. Max Baer Jr., who portrayed Jethro Bodine and was the son of a champion boxer, could probably attest to feeling nothing more than a gentle pat, despite the force behind Granny's comedic blows. In another surprising twist, Buddy Ebsen, the actor embodying the family patriarch in the TV version of the Beverly Hillbillies, made a cameo in the 1993 movie adaptation, but not as Jed. Ebsen, known for his role as Detective Barnaby Jones from 1973 to 1980, reprised this iconic character for the film. Talk about a unique TV mashup, bringing different characters to life in the same cinematic universe. But the fact is, the movie couldn't break the records of the original show. The show's meteoric rise in ratings is another noteworthy aspect. Just 3 weeks after its 1962 debut, the Beverly Hillbillies claimed the #1 spot in TV ratings, marking the fastest uptick in television history. Remarkably, it maintained its top position for 2 years and consistently ranked in the top 20 for 8 seasons. Even during its last year on air, it lingered in the top 25. However, its cancellation wasn't due to a decline in popularity. Surprisingly, the Beverly Hillbillies was still a fan favorite in 1971 when CBS executive Fred Silverman made the decision to pull the plug. The cancellation wasn't driven by a drop in ratings, but rather a strategic move to avoid restricting the network to the rural niche. With other shows like Petticoat Junction and Green Acres in the lineup, CBS wanted to diversify its programming despite the continued success of the Beverly Hillbillies. It's a reminder that sometimes, even when a show is at the peak of its popularity, the dynamics of the television landscape can lead to unexpected decisions. Well, let's take a trip down memory lane with our next revelation. You know, that dusty 1921 Oldsmobile Model 46 Roadster, almost as famous as the rest of the cast. Imagine the Clampett clan bouncing around in the opening sequence as they cruise down Sunset Boulevard. Well, guess what? That very jalopy is now stealing the spotlight as the star exhibit in the Ralph Foster Museum at Missouri's College of the Ozarks. In a twist of fate worthy of its own episode, the show's creator, Paul Henning, decided to gift the jalopy to the museum in May 1976 during its bicentennial celebrations. And get this, that old beater even embarked on an overseas adventure. In 1967, numerous episodes were filmed in England, and the truck, dismantled and shipped across the pond, provided some authentic Clampett adventures while there. No doubt that jalopy was precious, but did you know just how much were the Clampetts worth? Brace yourselves, because the Clampett fortune kicked off at a cool $25 million and grew to a staggering $100 million by the series' end. And if we adjust for inflation, we're talking about a financial journey from around $195 million to an eye-popping $583 million. This is shocking, but isn't it more shocking to become a successful author at the age of 93? At a time when most of us will be long retired or dead, Buddy Ebsen decided to pen a novel. Kelly's quest was rejected by 9 publishers, so he decided to self-publish. His book actually made number 3 on the Los Angeles Times paperback bestseller list in 2001. Prior to that, his 1994 autobiography, The Other Side of Oz, was also well received. Now let's talk about something that happened accidentally. One intriguing aspect is the accidental release of numerous episodes into the public domain. Back when Orion Television acquired the rights to air the show, a critical oversight occurred. They forgot to renew the copyrights for 55 episodes before they lapsed. This blunder meant these episodes could be freely distributed, leading various companies to seize the opportunity. However, due to the copyright coverage of the iconic opening theme song, these redistributed episodes had to make do with generic banjo music. Now the producers can hide this mistake from fans, but they couldn't hide the fact that it was a flop on the big screen. Despite being a timeless classic, the Beverly Hillbillies faced a significant stumble when Hollywood attempted to translate its magic onto the big screen. In 1993, the Beverly Hillbillies movie hit theaters with a star-studded cast featuring Jim Varney as Jed, Diedrich Bader as Jethro, Erica Eleniak as Ellie Mae, Cloris Leachman as Granny, Lily Tomlin as Miss Jane Hathaway, and Dabney Coleman as Milburn Drysdale. While it achieved modest success at the box office, the film fell short of capturing the charm that made the original series a beloved classic. Critics and audiences alike were less than impressed, with renowned critic Roger Ebert dubbing it one of the worst movies of this or any year. It goes to show that not every attempt to bring a classic to the big screen results in success, and sometimes it's best to let the original shine without attempting a remake. The Beverly Hillbillies continues to entertain audiences with its timeless humor, even with occasional missteps in its legacy. Despite all the hiccups, the show's enduring popularity and cultural impact solidify its place in television history, reminding us that even the quirkiest of families can become beloved icons. As we explored the twists and turns in the Beverly Hillbillies journey, it begs the question, what missteps or unexpected successes in the world of entertainment do you find most fascinating? Feel free to share your thoughts on the enduring legacy of classic shows. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more video updates. Until next time, stay tuned.